it like getting a phone call for Last Leg?
Ridiculous.
That's one of my favourite programmes anyway. And then
I mean,
fucking hell, Shaun's there.
That was surreal, because what happened were, we'd been on Look North in week, and I just tweeted at Last Leg, is it okay for you to check out this video we're doing as a charity single with South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue? So that's at Wednesday. They were wrapping show up. Oh no, sorry, Thursday. They were wrapping. They'd done all the bits. Everything were prepared, and they were all just about to go off. Go for lunch and then go and do their bits of research for their parts on show. Right. And Alex Brooker happened to go through "Is it okay?" tweets and saw that, and just grabbed them and went, lads,
have you seen this thing?
This is tomorrow night's show. This is our show closer, and they loved it. And so I would actually.
It's great that it's really them that do look through.
Oh yeah,
through that, because you can just imagine just teams of researchers doing it and them just like being the face of it all. But
so then
it's great that they really do it.
I get a call because I'm glad you've called me. He says, "This is going to sound bonkers, but do you know Last Leg?" And I went, "Yeah, I watch it every week. It's great." And he went, "Do you want to go on it tomorrow night?" I'm like,
Adam
Hills.
He were him actually phoning.
No, Adam from Fire Service.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right, okay.
Well, I'll tell you a backstory about Adam Hills.
Yeah.
Going back to 2009, I was living back at my mum's, and Brothers had been going for 2 or 3 months, and it was starting to take off. It was doing all right. And but I were in a right bad place. To be honest, I were like I am now.
Okay.
Only not as bad as I am now, but I were in a pretty bad way.
When you say you're in a bad way, what do you mean by that?
Anxiety and depression. That's what I've got at the minute.
Okay.
I mean, I've had that a few times, and it's not just something that goes away. It's a disability. It's a lifelong bloody debilitating thing that you can't get rid of. You just manage it.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother had it when we were kids, and so we've been through that. But anyway, it went comedy festival we're on. And Toby said to me, "Oh, you want to go and check out Adam Hills' show?" He goes, "I'll put you on guest list. Just come down Sunday night."
Yeah.
So I went down, and I'll be honest, I'd had a crap day. I were
couldn't be arsed.
But I thought, no, I'll go out because Toby's been good enough to give me a ticket and that, so I'll go. And it was the best comedy show I've ever seen. Because Adam Hills is a brilliant kid anyway. I mean, he's a really down to earth, genuine, lovely bloke. I can't fault him. And his whole set that night were all about uplifting, the people being uplifted and the people in your life that make you feel good.
Yeah.
It was called Inflatables. And it made you laugh, it made you cry, because the last bit about it were he told this story about how one of their friends in Australia had died. She were only young. Yeah. And they had like a night out in her memory, kind of a memorial service, and then they all went out together. But her big thing were wearing bunny ears. It were her thing when she went out. And anyway, he was saying he were walking home after this night out, and it's just daylight, they'd been out all night. And he's walking back to his hotel. And he was feeling really low. It's like, we've had a great night celebrating this wonderful person's life, and yet she's not here anymore. He felt as low as he had felt. But as you were walking along, everybody that walked towards him was smiling. Everybody. And by the time he got back to the hotel, it was like the sun had come out again, and he realised that life does go on, and you can be happy again. And just as he walked into the hotel, he saw his reflection in the door, and he'd still got bunny ears on. And that was how he ended the show. But it was fantastic. Yeah. And afterwards, I'd got introduced to him. Foxy introduced me. I had a chat with him, and as I say, he is such a nice bloke. He's got time for you. He weren't rushing you on and stuff. Yeah. And I always said, and after that gig, that show was a turning point for me, because I saw light at the end of a tunnel. Yeah. And from then on, things started to get better and started to pick up, and I started to care about myself a bit more again. Okay. And I always said, if I ever got a chance to meet him again, I'd thank him for that show, and thank him for that night, and let him know how much it had helped, and give him a hug, basically. Yeah. So when we went on Last Leg, we didn't really get to talk to him much beforehand, because we were you're so busy rehearsing and what have you. But then at end, we were all in green room after, and I just took him on one side. I said, "Have you got a minute, Adam?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I have, mate." He says, "You were brilliant tonight." I'm like, "Oh, nice one, thank you."
Yeah.
He says, "I love the video," and I'm like, anyway. I said, the reason I've called you, I said, because, and I told him a story about how, all these years before, being his show and all that. And I said, and I always promised that if I ever got to meet you again, I'll give you a hug and say thank you, because I can't tell you how much that meant to me. And he just went, "Oh, man," a big hug, and it was just lovely. And he said, "Oh, keep in touch and that." So I still tweet him now and again.
Yeah.
And he's such a, and that's a life affirming thing right there.
Yeah.
And it's all come through music and being, and just being out, putting yourself out there a little bit.
We've said it on these road trips before. It's always important to talk about these things. Just never bottle it up. Is that? I don't like saying too much about it, because I just feel like I could potentially say the wrong thing, because I've not suffered with it myself personally. But
it's a difficult.
If somebody's watching it and they're not feeling right, it's okay to not feel right.
Absolutely, it's always okay to not feel okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a problem in this country. It's getting better, but we have a problem.
Yeah.
I think it's even worldwide, but especially here. Yeah. And I don't know why it is.
Yeah.
And it's blokes, it's lads.
Yeah.
From an early age, you get that message of big boys don't cry.
Yeah.
Shut up crying. Pull yourself together.
Yeah.
You've got to be a big man. You've got to be a tough man.
Yeah.
And so we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so when we do suffer, we turn it in on ourselves and we don't tell anybody and we bottle it up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it means that 71% of suicides in this country are young men.
Yeah.
And we need to change that. And the phrase that I used to use a lot, I won't deny it, I used to use the phrase, and I hate it now, is the phrase "man up." So when anybody says to somebody "man up,"
challenge them on it.
I just want to say, "Man up, man the fuck off," because that is just ridiculous.
Yeah. What's man up mean?
If you want to man up, I'll tell you how you man up: is you accept you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And instead of bottling it up, you talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You get out there, you ask for help, and you don't. I'm not saying just go run into doctors. You don't always have to, because sometimes you do just need to let loose and talk to somebody, get stuff off your chest. And then when it gets bad, you go to doctors and they'll sort you out. They'll help you. You get on some medication. They'll sort you out with some therapy.
Yeah.
But you need to be open. You need to. I knew this were coming for a few months. In fact, nearly a year I knew this were coming, but I would bury my head in sand.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to let anybody down at work. I didn't want to let anybody down out of work, my band and my mates and stuff like that. I didn't want to upset or worry our lass. I didn't want to upset my mum, because my mum were ill last year.
Yeah.
So I bottled it up and I bottled it up and I bottled it up and I buried my head in sand and I pretended it wasn't happening. And then a few weeks ago, it all come to a crisis point. And when I got to that crisis point, I realised, now this time I've got to get it.
Yeah.
I've got to get my head around this and get sorted out. So I went to doctors and he listened and I cried a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not freaking to admit it. I opened up and I let it all out. And even that day, I felt like a little bit of weight had lifted off my shoulders because I'd told somebody. And then I started writing blog that I'm writing, which is Big Shaun's Big Thoughts.
Yeah, what's the site for that? Or do you just Google it and they'll find it?
It's big. I post it on Facebook every day, but it's Big Shaun's Big Thoughts.
I'll put the link on this video as well for people.
Yeah, .blog.
Yeah.
And I started writing it for myself, just so I could get my head round what's happening.
Yeah.
And try and make some sense of it. But from first couple of posts, people were coming to me and saying, "I love what you're writing. It's really honest." And then people coming and saying, "Actually, Shaun, you've made me think.
Yeah.
I think I'm there. I think I need to ask for some help."
Yeah.
And I'd said to him, "Well, you've made first step, because you've told me." I said, "Nah. Look at the people that you can trust. Look at the people that are important to you, and tell them. Let them know what's happening, because they will help you. And you'll be amazed how much people support you. Even people who've not been through it can see that you're in pain, and they will help and they'll support. The best thing is, you know, turn to your family, turn to your friends,
Yeah.
and you'd be amazed how many people you had no idea have gone through it themselves or are going through it right now.
It's an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you today, Shaun. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your honesty. There's a lot of people that know who you are, and just hearing you talk about these type of things will be really important to spread the word and just help. If it helps one person out, it's done its job, hasn't it? Really,
exactly.
Anyway.
I hope it helps people, and I hope we can get that message across and get guys to start talking. You know, you can have fun with lads. You can be one at lads, and you can have a laugh, and you're different with your male friends than you are with your female friends. But at the end of the day, we are all human, and we all need that interaction. We all need that in our lives where we've got folks to talk to, and we're not good at it, lads. But we can get better.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be all huggy and kissy. Although I am a hugger. I'm unapologetic about it. I am a hugger. I'm a very tactile kid. Always have been. You know. And once I make a new friend, they get a hug. When I say hello, and they get a hug when I say ta-ra.
So, Big Shaun, really appreciate your time, my friend.
Pleasure, Cal.
Thanks for joining me today on this road trip, the first of many of season 2, series 2, whatever you want to call it. But thanks again, mate. All the best.
No worries.
Cheers,
and to
pal.
anybody out there, look after yourselves.